Hello, I'm here with a ghost story. I was an only child and the apple of my parents' eyes. So it was a shock when they decided to move into a big old house all by themselves and leave me to fend for myself in the city while I finished high school. It wasn't like them and it wasn't like me to spend so much time apart, but we all grow up and change. And this was 10 years ago now, so we were all pretty grown up. The house was huge and had been in my family for a long time. My grandparents had bought it when they were newlyweds back in the 60s. They raised 3 kids there, my brother, sister, and me. And then my parents got divorced when we were teenagers. My dad moved out and my mom stayed in the family home with us kids until we were all grown up and out of the house. So anyway, my senior year of high school rolled around and I was spending most of my time at school or hanging out with friends. I didn't really have time to think about ghosts. But one night, I came home from a late night out with some friends and I heard whispering coming from my room. I thought nothing of it and went to my room and tried to go to sleep, but the whispering followed me. I couldn't make out what the voices were saying, but they sounded like they were right outside my bedroom door. At first, the whispering would start around midnight and go on for maybe 30 minutes or so and then stop. But as the weeks went by, the whispering got louder and more frequent, and the times changed. Sometimes it would start in the middle of the afternoon. Sometimes it would go on for hours. And then one day, I started seeing things out of the corner of my eye, like a shadowy figure standing at the foot of my bed or in the corner of my room. I never got a good look at it because it would always disappear after a few seconds. But I could feel its presence with me at all times. It was definitely in my room during the day when I was home from school. But when I was out, I could sense it moving around the house. I would come home to find doors that I had left open were now closed. Or sometimes I would walk into a room and my name would be spelled out in little pebbles that were arranged in a perfect print on the carpet. One time I was homesick from school and in bed resting with the curtains drawn, when suddenly the whispering started up again, sounding closer than ever. I was scared to get out of bed, but I knew I had to go to the bathroom. As I made my way to the door, the whispering grew louder and louder, and just before I opened the door, I could have sworn I heard my name being called. When I finally got back into bed, I pulled the covers over my head and curled up in the fetal position. I don't remember if I cried or screamed. I don't remember anything at all. The next morning I woke up and the sun was shining through the curtains. The room was silent. I was soaked in sweat and shivering at the same time, and I had no idea where my phone was or how long I had been asleep. That's when I realized I hadn't dreamed any of it. It was happening. I tried to convince myself that I was going crazy, but deep down I knew something was wrong. The whispering continued every single night, day and night, getting louder and more intense. I couldn't take it anymore. I called my mom at work, but she told me to just ignore it, and that none of us could do anything about it because it was our home and we had to respect it. But I wasn't able to stay there. I ended up spending my last semester of senior year living with my dad and his new family. It's been 10 years since then, and I haven't thought about that house or the whispering in years. But a few months ago, my mom called me to tell me that she sold the house. She said that she hoped that whoever bought it would be happy there, but she knew it would never be the same without us. The end.